Yeah, we got Tim in here. Okay, it's 6 o'clock. I'd like to call this meeting of the Kinney County Groundwater District to order. We have a full quorum with all 7 directors present. Everyone will please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Director Ward, would you please lead us in a short prayer?
Heavenly Father, Lord, we come before you tonight, Lord. First of all, thanking you for Jesus, Lord, and the sacrifice that he made for us. Lord, we thank you for the recent rains, Lord. We ask that you be with those that maybe got a little too much flooding, Lord. We ask that you just bless their homes, Lord, keep them safe and help them heal, Lord. Lord, we thank you for everyone that's represented here. We ask that you give them a safe passage, Lord, and a prosperous life, Lord. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Please be seated. Okay, we're going to move on to public comment. We've got a few signed up. Public comment will be limited to 3 minutes each. Ms. Marsh, if you would, please.
Here's a here's my comment. Candidate eligibility for the 4 precinct seats on the GCD board should be open to registered voters who reside within the precinct, including residents of Fort Clark or the city of Brackettville. I am grateful to each of you for your service on this board. As you well know, protecting our groundwater is complex both scientifically and legally. The public is best served when board members are willing to invest the time and effort to understand these challenges. The wider the pool of possible candidates, the better chance we have to find people willing to make that effort. The entire population of Kinney County is small, around 3,000 people, and there are currently 1,435 registered voters in the entire county. Considering that much of our rural property is owned by non-residents, the pool of potential candidates for the precinct seats is currently vanishingly small. What is more, sympathy for the viewpoint of rural landowners does not stop at the city limits or at the gates of the fort. There are residents of Fort Clark and of Brackettville who have served on this board in at-large seats who have consistently voted with the directors in the precinct seats. There are Fort and city residents who express sympathy for permit holders in the endless Facebook back and forth that I choose to stay out of. The strongest possible candidate pool will lead to the strongest possible board. As it presently stands, I, along with many residents of the Fort and of Brackettville, am keenly aware that about 80 cents of every dollar that this board spends is coming from property taxes. Much of those taxes paid for by Fort and city residents who do not have equal representation on the board due to the rural requirement. With fair and equal opportunities to run for the precinct seats, if the board votes to direct funds toward brush control or well capping that will benefit permit holders, as a taxpayer, I will know that the board making those decisions was fairly elected and that I and other city or Fort residents had an equal chance to elect directors who have given fair consideration to all county residents. The requirement of owning real property to be eligible to vote ended in the United States in the 1820s before Andrew Jackson was elected president. American democracy is based on one person, one vote, not 1 acre, one vote, not 1 acre foot, one vote. The rural residency requirement was clearly designed to disadvantage city and Fort residents and tilt the composition of this board in favor of rural permit holders. It is unjust and should be dropped in the interest of fair representation, strengthening the legitimacy of the board in the eyes of the public, and electing the most qualified directors who are willing to serve. Thank you.
Please hold the applause. Tracy Board.
All right, well, that's great. And I'd love to elaborate a little bit more on how this district is funded. So in reviewing what was subject number 8, item number 8, I did a little research to see where the revenue comes from, $500,000 or $600,000 a year. Well, 12% of the dollars come from the citizens of Fort Clark and the city of Brackettville. That represents approximately $77,000 or $40 per person per year. 9% comes from about 40 people, mostly farmers and ranchers, and that's about $51,000 a year. The lion's share of the dollars that fund this district, 77%, comes from industry, utilities, and multi-use farms. That's $378,000 to $450,000. So I feel like with 3 board members that are at large, representing only 12% of the tax dollars that are going to this district, that's a 43% of the board represents Fort Clark and Brackettville.
mails.
You still have that.
Yeah, but sure do.
And the remaining balance, the other 77% of the lion's share of the tax dollars that go to this district are represented by the at-large, but also the other 4 district representatives. It's important for the minority in volume of people to still have representation, and that's what our U.S. government's all about. I want to be represented in my precinct, even if it's only 10 people, and not have the city of Houston overwhelm me with the number of folks that think that they know what's best for my precinct. So I think the way it has been designed is accurate, it's legal, and changing it is really quite a waste of time because you're going to be going through the state legislature, and then it's got to go all the way up to the governor. It's an arduous process, but I welcome everyone to do it. But I want everyone to understand the lion's share of tax dollars that go to this district come from industry and utilities, 77%. Only 12% of the citizens pay in, and it's about $40 per person per year. And that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Bullhorn. Kelly Shahan.
We're going to go back to the time when this water district was formed. I think Blake, you were here, and President Robinson was here, and Matt was here. But that was based on we visited with we formed an ad hoc committee, and that committee chose to form a water district. To form a water district in anywhere in the state of Texas, you have to vote on it. The county has to vote on it to see whether or not the people are for it. Well, we had a vote. For 82% of the people in Kinney County voted to have a groundwater district. Of course, it was around 8. I said 82. It's 84%. 84% voted back in early 2000 is when it was. And at that time, there were the conservationists. There was the pumpers. The pumpers did not want the language to be taken out that says reside in rural area language. That's really the hook here. And we wanted that language out. The pumpers wanted that language in. So in trying to get together and get 100% support of our district, we agreed to leave it in there because what they told us was, if you don't take it out, we're going to lobby against it when it goes to Austin, and we'll kill your bill. So to get a groundwater district, we chose to go this route. And you don't base representation on income. Okay, that's a nice statistic, but you base it on equal protection under the law, under the Voting Rights Act. And that's what we're talking about here. We have a population in Kinney County of 60 to 65% Hispanic. That 60 to 65 Hispanic, I would say 90% of them live in Brackettville or Fort Clark Springs. If you don't, you need to correct this error. where you don't have full representation, even for the Hispanic community. How can these people run? They don't live in the outlying areas. They live in Brackettville. They work at REA. They work at Fort Clark. So to deny these eligible people to vote, to deny them the right to be a candidate for any of these offices, this provision of reside in rural area needs to be removed. And that is our position. And thank you for listening to us.
Thank you, Mr. Kinney. Please hold your applause. Ms. Hodges.
Hello. I'm Elizabeth Hodges, and I'm reading a very brief letter from Annalisa Peace, who is the executive director of Greater Edwards Aquifer Alliance, and very well respected in our state for what she does for all of the Edwards Aquifer. And so she has asked us to read this tonight, and I will say that at the end, just a little addendum. Kinney County Groundwater Conservation District. Proposed legislation amending enabling legislation. Honorable members of the Kinney County Groundwater Conservation District. I'm writing on behalf of the 59-member organization of the Greater Edwards Aquifer Alliance, including Las Moras, in support of legislation amending the required membership of the Kinney County Groundwater District to constitute more equitable representation of the entire community served by this body. Respectfully, Annalisa Peace, Executive Director, Greater Edwards Aquifer Alliance. And I just want to bring up the fact that I think it's so interesting that we have people all over the state who really care about our spring, all the springs. And they're showing an interest in our county and how we care for the conservation here. She also asked that she would ask the board to table the resolution until the community could have a better chance to ask more questions and understand what your opposition is to greater representation for all the people. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Hodges. Please hold your applause. Mr. Conley.
As this board is aware, there's a bill being proposed that would improve fairness in Kinney County Groundwater District elections by removing the rural requirement for precinct board members. The Groundwater District was created to regulate pumpers and protect the aquifer and spring for all Kinney County community members. Its primary tool to do that is to limit how much a pumper can pump. We have 7 board seats and a majority rule voting structure. 4 of those board seats, so the majority, are required by strange law to go to the rural community where the pumping is, even though only 18% of the population lives in the rural community. The city and Fort, which together make up 82% of the population, only get 2 seats on this board. There is 1 additional county at large seat that could go to either the rural or non-rural area. So even if the city and Fort win this extra county at large seat, they still only represent a 3-seat minority on this board, even though they represent an 82% majority of the county population. Board president and pumping permit holder Wes Robinson promises you this is fair. He lines up 4 candidates from the rural parts of the county, telling citizens of Brackettville and Fort Clark Springs that you can pick from any of these 4 rural candidates, but you can't pick someone from the city or Fort, and then claims the city and Fort are getting fair representation because he let you vote from among his pumping community candidates. It's a farce. These aren't true options. These are wolves in shepherd's clothing who turn around and tell us to trust them to guard the sheep. They do this knowing they intend to sacrifice the sheep for their own benefit. Every board member who is a member of the rural community has voted not to protect the spring, but instead to increase the number of permits, allow pumping to triple, and allow the spring to go dry for the 5th year in a row. Now tonight, this rural pumper controlled board is going to vote to oppose a bill that would make representation equal according to population, something the other 98% of groundwater districts in the state do. All county governments do, and all city governments do. They do it because honest decision-making means equal representation by elected officials, telling members of the community the water board is how they can protect themselves, then forcing these community members to choose from among only pro-pumping candidates is immoral and wrong. This system has been contrived by pumpers with the intent of disadvantaging and underrepresenting the interests of Bracketville and Fort Clark residents, with the specific policy purpose of preventing pumping regulation and to financially benefit unregulated pumpers. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Hold your applause, please. Mr. Gonzalez.
Thank you, sir. Richard Gonzalez, live here in Bracketville. I'm also the chairman of Leap on Apache Band of Texas, but it would be nice for if I just showed up here and had the majority of the votes and just canceled everybody out. But that's not what's fair. What's fair is that each one of us have our own vote, and that I mean it's been stressed already, so I don't go over all the numbers all over again. But still, I support that. If you have one vote, that's what you have, one vote, not 6 votes, just one vote. And so we should make it fair for everybody in this county, because this is who we're talking about, this county and protecting our water. And it's our water, it's not just my water. And it's not about reducing somebody else's use, it's about protecting what we already have and then continue forward. We're very thankful for the rains that came. It helps everybody, and not just help some people, but I support the review of what we have now, and to go through the one vote means one vote. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. And that will finish up public comment. Agenda item number 5, discussion possible action, approval.
That's not.
Sure.
You want me to sign here or you want to sign there?
Just, you got one there, just fill it out and. Okay, Mr. Huey, you're up.
Thank you. So when I was aware of this bill, or was not aware of this bill until it hit Facebook, and obviously that's not a great place for information. So I reached out to Eddie Morales' office to ask him what the thought was here and how this was brought about and what was going on, because I haven't seen any of that information out there. So first off, after asking him some questions and getting the response from his office today, I'm going to ask that you table this bill at this resolution at this moment, because I don't think there's enough information out there. And I'm going to read you directly from the response from his office. This is currently a working draft prepared by my office. I have not made a final decision on whether to file it, but the draft reflects the 2 issues we are currently considering: whether the rural residency restriction or precinct candidates remains appropriate, and whether the additional prospects should be established for the historical flow of Las Moras Springs. So there has not even been time for the person who is considering this bill to receive public comment and deliver it in its final draft. This version that's floating around now is simply a draft of the bill. And as it was mentioned before, when you look at these things and you go to the legislative process, you get things tied up and they go away. We got one shot at this. If there are any changes that need to be made, we need to make sure that we're presenting exactly what the citizens of this county want and that the district wants as well. So if we're going to send something and we're going to go through the legislative process, we need to have more public hearings before it comes before government bodies so that they can consider it. So if you're going to consider something, if you're going to make a resolution for or against something, please wait until we have the final, or we participated in the process to have the final language. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment, Mr. Huey. Agenda item number 5, discussion possible action, approval of minutes, June 23rd, 2026, regular board meeting. I'll entertain any motion.
Make a motion there. Approve the minutes. As stated.
Motion's been made by Director Lewis and seconded by Director Bland to approve the minutes. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Let me do that one right there. Agenda item 6, General Manager's Report.
Okay, since the last board meeting, I believe there's been 2 applications that have been submitted, both for exempt wells. One up in the, I guess, northwest part of the county. The other one, I believe, out on the Temple Road. There's not been any meetings held and so since the last regular board meeting. The tag meeting, I think I mentioned before, will be coming up the first week in September. As far as any upcoming events, tag meeting, the annual tag meeting, there's not anything at this time. I did have to touch briefly, and I failed to get it on here. We have been talking about the J.R. Hamilton. And
No, this is where we were going to put it at. This is where we were going to put it at.
Yes. And his test permit. And Plan had met with his assistant, I guess, last week. She thought that he was going to be back in town or back in the country. That followed last Friday. Well, he didn't make it, but he did come in yesterday afternoon. He's been here today and will be here tomorrow. She said that she would be meeting with him, visiting with him in the morning. I told her we would be here all day if they wanted to come in and sit down and visit with us on that, as far as getting the whole thing lined out and what they are required to do to go ahead and move forward with the permit. So that's all I have to report on that at this time. Very cooperative and it'll work out fine.
I suspect we will either have a application or we'll have another report at the next meeting on it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Agenda item number 7.
If I don't request a special meeting before then.
Very well. Okay. Agenda item number 7. Review Texas Water Development Board Drought Index and aquifer monitoring data. Mr. Burton. Caught him asleep.
Wow, sorry, I was on mute. I'm here, I'm listening. How are you?
We're just fine. Talk to us about our monitoring data.
Well, I don't have a lot to talk about. It's all presented in the graph packages. What I did this month is, obviously, we've had remarkable rain. I think that there's a period of celebration for the amount of water that just went into the aquifer. I think the spring is sustained right now at about 40 CFS. What I did this month is on all of the graphs that I've submitted, that's in the board package, it'll be up online. I took the period of record and I just plotted July. So you can see from all of our monitoring location, I think I've included most, if not every single one. You can see the rain response, and we've certainly had some, down in the Austin Chalk that maybe didn't respond as much. But the wells that are within the karst, our indicator wells up north, Two Rosa well came up, almost 6 feet. It's still rising. A lot of wells are still rising. But one of the things I want to caution right now, we need to let the system, there's still water moving through the system, and we need to let things equilibrate a little bit, if you will, before we start making decisions on where the water went. I know Vince and I have had a conversation, a couple different conversations about how different parts of the county have responded differently. One of the graphs that is in there is a rainfall graph. And in the rainfall package, I mean, there were, blaze up in the northeast corner of the county. I mean, it had 24 inches of rain. And so each of 25 separate rain gauges, I've got a summary page on there. We've got anywhere from 19 or 20 to some areas, to some way down south, that were, I think, around 3 or 4 inches. Unfortunately, the USGS gauge in bracket only reported 6.64. I think we probably got more than that. I think that might be a product that it's under the tree canopy a little bit. But we certainly got a lot of rain. And before I come to any conclusions or make any predictions about the future or where we are in the aquifer, certainly there's a lot of water that went in. Certainly multiple years of discussion on pumping and production. There's a lot of water went into the ground, but a lot of water ran off. All the creeks, you saw the spikes in the creek. Our equipment on Highway 90 at Pinto Creek, that steel enclosure sits 5 or 6 feet above the elevation of the highway, and that thing was completely submerged. And I know one of our directors went out there and also restarted it for us after the water went down. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Yeah. But and so we're gonna need to let things settle a little bit before we present any conclusions. What I'd like to do tonight is just the information's there. It'll be up online. Everybody can look at it. But one thing I think that is there's 2 separate packages. There's a rainfall analysis package and there's a water level package. In the water level package, the period on the x-axis, the time, is for July of 2026. Now you can go back and look at the historical stuff. I've got all those. I just didn't include too much technical information, but it'll all be online. People can take a look at it. I don't know, Vince, do you want to add anything to that? Do you have any comments on any of the stuff that we talked about?
Am I coming through?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right, wonderful. No, nothing except just to reiterate, there's a lot of really good data here. Water levels are still going up. With all that said, the thing that I found really remarkable after all this is one of the things we've been plotting is the rainfall deficit out here. And with how much rain we got, which was quite amazing to see some of those photos. One of the things that is still worth noting is Kinney County for the last 5 years is still in about 20 inches of rainfall deficit. So really thinking about the importance of precipitation, the amount of recharge that this aquifer did get, but then also considering all that with respect to we're still in a rainfall deficit out here. So I know that when you look at drought maps, they appear to show that the drought's over, but we still need to play a little bit more catch up, and hopefully we get some more rains this year for that.
Okay. Anything else on it, gentlemen?
Can I add something to that?
Ask any questions you need to, Director.
I called the Edwards Aquifer and I checked on the aquifer itself. We're sitting at a number 2, which is still severe drought. And I've heard the weatherman said we got like 48 billion gallons of water in this rain. Okay. We got a rain last year that flooded everything. And in March, we were still in a number 5 drought. But right now, we're in a number 2 and San Antonio's in a number 1. And I'm pretty sure it's probably still coming in and filling up the reservoirs and still going to help the aquifer. But I've already seen pumping yesterday. So, if we have to get a act of God every year to replenish this thing, and we was in a drought for 5 years, and it only come up with all that water. I know a lot of it went off, which it always does if it's in a flood. But if you have to have an act of God to get it to come back up, to catch up, when it only moved 3 points out of the drought, and we're going to have to pray for a God send every year to keep us water.
Is that a question?
Well, yes, kind of.
Well,
Let's pray for it every day that it comes in littler amounts.
yeah,
Well, yeah, we've been praying that for
I
5.
mean, I think we're in a different situation than the Edwards, and I appreciate the folks that are talking about Edwards Aquifer Authority and everything that's happening over there, and certainly GMA 10 in that direction. But even in our worst case scenario, yeah, you know what, Director Minley, I'm not going to answer that. I'm not sure. I mean, we need rain, we need recharge. You and I have talked about 8 months ago that this was going to be the year that we got rain. I'm grateful that we got rain. I'd like to look at the data a little bit more and see what we actually got. I mean, there are parts of this county when the springs dry where there's still water coming in from a different direction. And so, I mean, I've got water levels 10 feet above the surface. And in some areas still going up. We've got pressure heads. Now, certainly in other areas, we could still use water. How water moves through the system is just as important as how much water we're getting. And, you know, people need to realize that whether or not you pump or not, water is going to move through your system. And it's going out of Kinney County whether you're pumping or not. And the 48 billion, I think that number is very small. I think it's going to be more than that. I mean, you've got the amount of, I know Vince is working on some recharge stuff, and I don't want to just guess here top of mind, but you put more water went in the aquifer during recharge up in this area than we've seen in a long time. You know, going back to 2019, but I would concur with Vince in that we're still, you know, we still need more rain. But this is exactly what we went through in 2013. And I can remember I was here and we were in a drought, we were dry, didn't get anything. And then 18, we got some rain. In 2019, we got a bunch of rain. And in 2020, things went down to historic low. And now we got rain again. So how do we manage to that? I think that's the question. And what are we going to do? I think everybody wants this water to be in the spring. I'm grateful that you got water in the spring. There's going to be water in the spring for a while. I mean, you got two Rosa Road wells up 6 feet. It's not going to go away instantaneously. There's a lot, and it's still going up. A lot of wells are still going up. Some at a higher rate than others. But I'd like to let it sit for a little bit. Let the water go through the system. Look at the data, see what we got, and see what happens. And I'm not talking wait for a year or something. I think Vince and I will be there next month, up in August. I was going to be there today, but we had a whole big field thing planned, and I'm not going to go out in the field just yet with everybody's road. I mean, I know there's some ranches have seen substantial damage, and I feel for the people's homes that got flooded and the damage that were done to the houses. But we'll be back. We'll be back in August. We'll be there. We'll have a better chance to look at the information and be able to present a technical, a technically sound narrative on the information that's coming in. So.
Well, I think we just need to see how fast it goes down again and see what we have to do there. Because if it starts, I'm sure it's going to keep coming down because water seeps for weeks after a good rain like that. But we have to see how fast the aquifer drops once everybody starts pumping again, because the surface is different than what's down there. I mean, we didn't give it 2 1/4 inches outside over on 140 at the ranch over there. We got 2 1/4 inches when everybody else got 15, 17 inches. So I mean, they're already pumping.
I mean, gravity, things are going to come down. Right now, things are still going up. I'd like to wait till we get to that peak and see when that is, what the lag time is. I know one thing, our tech stop well, typically that is very, very slow to respond. I mean, I'm 4 months later and we got that instantaneously we started getting a rise. There was a whole entire another block of water up north moving through the system that hasn't even hit that tech stop well yet. And most of our wells are still going up. And Director Minley, I would completely agree with you. At some point, it's going to start going down. But before we make decisions on where that is and what's happening, I'd like to see at least how high it gets to. Now, Julie and some of the stuff in Pinto Valley, that will continue to rise for the next 6 months. I mean, we've seen that historically for years and years and years. We're getting a whole big western component of Edwards recharge that's hitting that valley. that is not hitting other parts of the county. And we've seen a big lag where that water just goes up, 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 and the spring can be going down, other wells can be going down, et cetera, but that one keeps going up. And not at the same rates, but we're still going up. I'd like to see where the water levels peak and exactly that. Because once you know where it peaks and you can understand when it starts to decline. And I think it's premature right now to make any decisions about anything other than to be grateful that we got rain. And I am empathetic, or I empathize with those that lost property, that had massive damage on large swaths of acreage and land in various parts of the county. And I'm very fortunate that there was no lives lost out there. And so let's wait. In my mind, let's wait. Let's let everything come up. Let's things start to spread out. Once things start to decline in certain areas, but we'll make better decisions and a better assessment at that time.
Anything else?
Nothing for me, sir.
Okay, let's move on to agenda item number 8. Discussion possible action, resolution proposing bill regarding section 8846.054B and section 8846.0102 special districts law code. Director Bland, you were the one that made me aware that this was up before the city council last. Oh, it wasn't last Friday. It would have been the Thursday that we had the rain, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was Thursday.
And that meeting was canceled. And that was the first I'd heard of it. Is that the first you had heard of it?
Yes, sir. I heard it from one of the council members that let me know about it.
Director Palmer, in April, we appointed you representative for the Kinney County Groundwater Conservation District to speak to the city regarding getting a permit. We've never heard anything about that, but yet we get this 3 months later. I'm just kind of curious how that worked.
I'm kind of curious how my plan to talk to the city about their options is related to this resolution.
I am too.
Not related.
Sure seems like it.
Tell us more.
No, you need to tell us more, Director.
That's all I need to tell you. That's all I got to tell you. How they're related, they're not related. They're separate.
You ever go and talk to the city about that?
About what? About their permit? No. I don't know that they need a permit or want a permit, but someday they'll probably get talked to about it.
So it's in the agenda to either say we like it or we don't like it.
Yep.
I agree with Mr. Huey that we should table this until the next time because this isn't the permanent bill. It's in draft mode. Correct. According to the congressman. We can work with the congressman. We can speak to the congressman, but I don't think we should say we like it or we don't like it when it's in draft mode and still able to change in any way. So I think we need to table it and either speak with the congressman or work with the congressman to see what the ideas are behind this and see what changes really need to be made.
Well, let me just say something before you go on to that little deal. Mr. Morales has made some statements before ever this that he intended to do this right off the bat. So, Jim, can you hear me?
Yes, sorry.
Has Mr. Morales or his office ever contacted you to talk to anything about Kinney County?
No, sir. No, I have not. I have not. From his public comments, he does not think highly of the groundwater board, though, just in some of the conferences. So,
yep. Vince, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Has Eddie Morales or his office ever contacted you to talk about anything in Kinney County?
No, sir.
What's the point, Matt? What's the point?
Let me finish. David. So I contacted Dr. Bill and asked him the same question. Never has talked to anybody. The point is this, David. If I go to a congressman or a rep and I make a complaint, what they'll usually do is they'll investigate that complaint before they take any action on doing anything. The point is this, this representative made a choice to represent somebody without even finding out anything, to talking to anybody about anything. He just made his mind up.
I don't think that's the case, Matt.
Yes,
That's
it
not
is.
what he did.
Yes, it is.
No, it is not what he did.
Don't interrupt him. He's telling you what he
I'm going to
thinks.
talk to him. I know it. He's a friend of mine. I'm going to talk to him about that.
Go ahead.
So that's between me and him. But what I'm saying is this: when a person goes out and
Audience needs to keep it
makes a
down.
decision before they even investigate it to find out anything, then there's something else behind it. So,
I guess
With
we should
that
ask
said,
Eddie what he says about it.
I'll
Because I
talk to
think
Eddie.
he's going to make
Greg.
it clear to you what he says about it.
Greg, is there other districts in the state of Texas that are set up in the same manner as this, or similar to the same manner as this, as far as the way they vote for the different spots that you can run?
I think the rural provision is unique to Kinney County. I'm not aware of any other district that says that, but there are many districts that have the district director drawn so that they represent the area of production of the groundwater rather than the population. In fact, Chapter 36 specifically prohibits a director of district to be drawn in such a way that any more than two director districts can touch any particular municipality. So the whole point is to try and make sure that the representation is on the use of the demand for the aquifer and not on a one-man, one-vote basis. And the perfect example is right next door to EAA. Edwards Aquifer Authority has 15 voting board members who are elected from single-member districts. 7 of those districts are Bexar County. The other 8 are outside Bexar County, 4 from the western 3 counties and 4 from the eastern 4 counties. That means that Bexar County, which has somewhere between 80 and 85% of the population of the district, gets 45% of the board. When the Latin LULAC, I can't remember what LULAC stands for right now, League of United Latin American Citizens, I think, filed suit against the district, trying to claim that it was a violation of one man, one vote, and they needed to reconstitute that board so that more of the board members were elected from Bexar County. The federal district court judge and the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled against them on that, on the basis that it's a single purpose district. It's doesn't have general authority over everybody's business all around the entire area. It only represents or regulates the usage of the aquifer, and that the districts were drawn in such a way to represent those who had the biggest interests in the aquifer. About 1/3 of the district came from the western areas, were primarily agricultural. About 1/3 from the Bexar County area, which is obviously very urban, and about 1/3 for those who were more interested in how much water is coming out of the springs. So those interests are represented, and that's what was important, rather than the one man, one vote. The one man, one vote did not trump the interest of that demand.
Which is why the ad hoc committee set up rural directorships whenever we did it, because otherwise we couldn't get the support locally and we couldn't get the votes for confirmation. So that's why we set it up that way.
Actually, in that lawsuit, there's a provision or specific discussion from the state representative and state senator who carried the bill that they couldn't have passed the bill had they drawn those director districts any other way. It wouldn't even made it out of the legislature.
So, Greg, you're talking about the way the districts were drawn, not who the candidates in the districts are.
That's true. But here the districts are drawn and they set up that candidacy to accomplish that same goal.
That's a stretch.
Not really.
Well, if you live in the district, you ought to be able to run for any position you want to. If you live in that district, why would that restrict everything?
If you did it that way, then you would have everyone from the town and the city controlling the board, And where most of the water is and most of the use is, which is rural and agriculture, they wouldn't have a vote. They'd never get on there. That's why we set it up the way that we set it up with 4 and 3. So there would be some balance. And
That's
to make it
right.
fair,
That's not balanced.
That's
to
not
make it
balanced.
fair, don't interrupt me.
It's not
To
fair.
make it fair, we made sure that no matter where you lived, you could run for 2 seats on this board and you could vote for 4. Doesn't matter whether you're in the city, whether you're in the fort,
Not
or whether you're in a
relevant,
rural
Wes.
area.
It's not relevant.
It's very relevant.
That fact is not relevant.
That
to
fact
what we're
is
talking
exactly
about.
how we got 80-something% to
No,
prove
it's
it.
not. It's
Yes,
ridiculous.
it is.
Well,
Anyway.
to be fair, I mean, explain to me if it's a 4-3 split. Let's have 8 people on the board. We'll have 8 people.
Hey,
That way we get it equal.
Well, you have to change your enabling legislature, and you're going to have to get all the entities to agree to it, including us, which I think is going to be somewhat difficult. Director
Greg.
Schott, do you have an
Greg.
opinion? You haven't spoke up yet.
Greg, let me talk. Greg, can you
No,
read
I
this?
won't. I'm asking Director Schott if he has a comment. He hasn't spoke yet. It's his turn to
I was
speak.
talking and then you took it away from me.
No, you interrupted
All
when
right,
I
I'll
did
wait.
it.
I'll wait.
Yes,
I'm
you
good.
will.
I'll just listen. Look at that.
Very well. Go ahead.
I can read this myself, but the finding of the LULAC case per Greg's email is as follows. The EAA, this one right here, Greg.
Yeah.
This right here.
Yeah.
That's what the court found, right?
Right.
So can you read that to us?
The EAA's electoral scheme is rationally related to the legitimate goal of protecting the aquifer because it equitably balances the rival interests of the agricultural, spring flow, and urban counties to ensure that no one region can dominate the aquifer's management. I just said that a few minutes ago.
Well, and it goes on. The EA's electoral scheme is rationally related to the legitimate goal of protecting the aquifer because it equitably balances the rival interests of the agricultural, spring flow, and urban counties to ensure that no one region can dominate the aquifer's management. That was the opinion of the court in this case. So the districts were drawn the way they were, and they didn't restrict who ran in those districts for their offices, as far as I know. Correct me if I'm wrong. And the goal is what our goal is, and the goal is not what our enabling legislation does. That's just the way it is.
Who is our?
Our enabling legislation.
He's asking a definition of our. Who are you talking about? Who are you referring to?
Our is who?
On this statement,
No.
they're talking.
So when you ran, let's put it this way. So when you ran on a ticket of 4 y'all people ran on that ticket, right? At the last election.
You're talking about the 4 spots that were open. 4 people ran. 4 people ran for the 4.
No, he's saying he ran under the
was a
Lost Moor
sign
Springs
with-
Conservation
with,
Association.
there was a
David.
sign, 4 people on it and said, "We're going to save our spring."
Yep.
Was that
You did.
Don't lie to me.
I'm not lying, Matt.
There.
I'm not known to
So
lie.
what is our? Who is our? Who is our? When you make that statement, who is our?
We'll save our springs. Is that what? Who is our?
Who is our?
In the statement, we'll save our springs.
That's right.
That's the person who wrote it.
Okay, so you're just going to act dumb now.
No, but I would say our is exactly what this says.
So let me
the county.
let me explain.
Brackettville, Fort Clark, and the rural areas is who I assume our meant when we'll save our springs. The people
Okay, let me
that
ask you
are
this
under
question.
this.
Let me ask you this question. Who owns the spring?
Who owns it? That's complicated. I
No,
think.
it's not. It's a property owner. Who owns it?
Who owns the water, the surface water, or who owns the
Who
actual
owns the
property
who-
around the spring, or
Who
what are you
owns
talking
the
about?
spring? The property owner owns the spring. Who's the property owner?
I'm not a lawyer, Matt. I don't
Fort
research
Clark-
who owns the spring.
Fort Clark Springs Association Incorporated owns the spring. That's their property. It's nobody else's property.
Greg, can you own the spring or the water in it? What are you talking about? The spring. What is the spring legally?
Somebody owns the land where the spring is located.
Okay. So if you want to know who owns the land, don't ask me, no.
Who does own it, Judge?
Yes,
If
if
you're Fort
you're
Clark
saying
Springs
the fort owns
Association
it,
member,
the
you
fort owns
should
it.
know.
Who is the fort?
Who is the fort?
You
What are you
can't answer
talking
that
about?
question. Who's the fort? Who's the association?
The fort is the association of homeowners that comprise that homeowner association.
Okay. That makes you one of the owners.
I live on the fort.
You are a resident member owner of the association. You own equal shares in the
Put your finger
property.
away. Don't point at me.
Equal shares, David. You know all this. You're just
I'm
acting
not
like
playing
you don't.
dumb, no, but
So you own
no, I'm
that
not.
property.
Whoever said I am, I'm not
No
playing dumb.
comments from the audience.
Yeah, if you want to come up and talk, we'll come up.
I'm gonna
and talk,
end
Tracy.
this
I'll
way so
handle
that you understand it. So basically, this is no different than you got Republicans over here and Democrats right here. And because you didn't get the person in that you wanted to, now you want to change the system to get what you want,
No,
to get control over
No.
the district.
no,
That's exactly what you
that's
want.
not. No,
Yes, it is.
no, it's not.
Yes, sir, it
If
is.
you think that's what I want, then you go ahead
I
and think whatever
exactly
you
know
want.
that's what it is.
But don't tell me what I think or what I want. 'Cause
All right,
you're not
gentlemen.
me.
I think we've heard enough of that. Director Ward, do you have any comment on that?
Well, I think that it's strange that we're wanting to give the votes of this board to representation tied to the city that has an unpermitted well in a municipality.
That's an interesting point.
That's the thing that drives me crazy on this deal.
Like, you know what the law is about exempt.
What is it?
The city's exempt.
Why won't they get their permit?
So they need more representation, even though they're
That's
exempt.
their option. If it's in their best interest to get a permit, they might. But if they don't, then they don't.
Gloss right over that one.
I'm talking to Blake about it. Look up the law. Greg can tell you what the law is. I second Ben's motion.
Ben hasn't made a
You
motion.
did too. You moved to
I made
table.
that was my opinion.
I
That's
second
what
it.
we should do. I haven't made a motion.
He did not make a motion. So,
All right, I moved to table it.
okay, that's fine.
I
You can
second.
move
I
the
haven't
table.
read it. I don't know what you're
You can move to table it too. Now, discussion. I don't want to table it. I want to take action.
Well, I have something to say. How is this fair to the audience out there that want to take and give all the power to the fort and the city? How is that fair to us in the country who make our living out there?
Maybe you didn't hear
You
it,
can still
Randy,
run.
but it's
Oh,
not her giving
How
all
is
the
it fair
power.
to me, Gage?
You
It's
can
not.
still run for the board.
Excuse
like you
me.
weren't able to do
Excuse me.
for someone like them.
I am not giving you the floor.
Yes.
I'm not giving you the
You
floor.
did ask the audience.
I did ask him, but I'm
So it's in this one.
That's
trying to
all
make a
right.
point.
That's
How
fine. You
can
go
that
ahead,
be
Darren.
fair to all the people that own land out there and make a living off their ranches and farms to have no representation? That is why we have an electoral
You would.
college.
You're able to run now and you would continue to be able to run for the board. if
I
you were-
know we will, but y'all can outvote us. You can outvote us by
As
hundreds.
is true in any democracy.
We're not a democracy, Gage.
Okay.
We're a republic.
Hang
I have
on.
a question
Hang on a minute.
in regards to
Excuse me. Hey, excuse me.
I have a question. So
Director Lewis.
right now, there's the 4 precinct holders, a city, off a city. So if we change it to that, will that do away with the city and the fort because they will now be able to run for
No,
those
what
precincts?
the
But that
proposed-
changes everything. That's my question. Is
I'm
if
trying
we
to
do
answer.
that,
I'm trying to answer your question.
are they going to do away with the city chair and the?
That's not what the proposed. That's not what the proposed bill, and it's not proposed yet. It's the draft bill. What the draft bill does is it eliminates the word rural. So what it would allow for is it would allow for people that live in the city to vote for 4 and run for 4, and people in the fort to vote for 4 and run for 4. But people in the rural area would not be able to do that.
Yes,
They
they
can
would.
still
What are you talking
vote
about,
right
Wes?
now.
They can run.
Y'all are
for 4.
restricting who can run.
So
We are not restricting
So that's
anything.
Bullshit. It's the board that's doing it.
your
The
statement
board is not doing it. The
incorrect.
enabling legislature and the voters did it, Director. Now,
Who presented it to them like
we have a motion and a second to table this. Is there any further discussion on that motion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. All
way?
opposed, same sign.
Hold on. Which way are you voting? What was the vote?
You just seconded it.
I
You made the
just,
deal.
But I didn't know which way he was doing it.
which way I was doing it, all in favor of tabling it. What part of that did you not understand? Fine, 3-4. It didn't get tabled.
Well, see, this is what we're talking about.
You want to do it again? All those
No
in favor, raise your
representation
right
is not-
hand. All those in favor, raise your right hand to table it.
This is the point that
Are
everybody's
you
making.
going to vote?
Well, it's been done, Wes. You're
All
just
right.
being silly.
Well, y'all are belaboring the point whenever you've lost it already. It's 3-4. We're not tabling it. Now, I am going to move that we instruct our council to write a resolution in opposition of this draft bill.
I'll second that.
We have a motion. If you will let me finish, I will tell you.
Well, I wanted to know what you just said, because you had your mouth covered up with your hand.
Would you like me to repeat it?
Yes, sir.
Then be quiet for a moment. We have a motion and a second to direct our council to write a resolution opposing the draft bill regarding section 884-6.054B and section 8846.102 special district law, local law codes. It has been motioned by myself and seconded by Director Schott. Is there any further discussion?
Absolutely.
You have the floor.
Who is your counsel?
The board has the
He's
option.
sitting right there.
The board obviously has the option to do what you're trying to do, Wes, but just to clarify what you're trying to do, once, if y'all do what you say you want to do by the motion, you would ask Greg Ellis to produce this draft resolution opposing the draft bill. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, that document that Greg Ellis might be asked to write would come before the entire board again.
Yep.
And then the
That is
entire board
correct.
would vote whether they want to oppose the bill in accordance with whatever Greg Ellis has asked by you to write.
No, it's what we review that Mr. Ellis has written once he comes back.
Okay, well.
But yes,
my
that is the
comment on
correct. That is the correct
I'm
procedure.
still talking. The eyes of Texas are upon us, and I don't know why this came to my mind, because I didn't go to UT, and I won't claim to, be an Aggie or a UT fan, but I think that song and that thought is something this whole board needs to seriously consider. It was mentioned in comments that essentially the eyes of Texas are upon us. And I'm not sure they like what they see. And if they see this, know that.
I've got a question.
Okay,
Mr. Ellis.
whatever. What you got?
Is it legal for them to do that? How many counties have actually have this written in their water board? How many counties? Have you know of any?
Okay, I
What they're trying to change here, is it legal
Exactly. Is it legal? Is it legal to set
to restrict the vote,
requirements
who can run to
for
vote?
election? Yes. Almost every district has, the district director has to be a resident of the district from which they're being elected.
Yes, a resident of the
There
district.
are a number of districts that have appointed boards where the appointees have to represent either certain areas or certain segments of the population. For example, an appointee must represent municipal utility districts or agricultural interests or industrial interests. So this type of specialized representation is very common across the entire state.
On the water board.
And the number of water boards are again, the water boards are specifically drafted up. The director districts are typically drawn to represent primarily
But that's the
areas
districts.
of production. I understand that. Within that district, there are residency requirements. I'm not aware of any other district that uses the word rural.
See, that's what we're talking about here. Do you know of any other county that does that?
I'm not aware of any other district where it says that you're limited to the rural area.
But they're restricting people being able to run. That's not right in any kind of world.
It's my opinion.
Not on who can run.
If the
Look at Mondami.
if the
You want
district is
to talk about restrictions, they should have been a restriction there. This is not right.
Ms. Bailey, if the district is drawn such that only residents of that district can run, and that district specifically excludes the main population center within a city, then nobody within that city can run for that district.
Well, but that's not how it is. I live in precinct 1, but I cannot run for precinct 1. We're talking about two totally different things.
Where do you live in precinct 1?
On Colony Road,
You
You
can
too.
run for
Randy's my
I
road.
cannot run against Mr. Shaw.
That's right. You can't, but you got 2 positions you can run for, and you got 4 that you can vote for, just like everybody else.
But
But
what he's
y'all
saying
pick
is
'em,
not
that's
what the
not
case
right.
is. So what Mr. Ellis is saying, that's the only reason I'm bringing it up, is because what Mr. Ellis is saying is not the case in this situation. I'm in that district, and I can't run for that seat. That's the only point I'm making, Wes.
Okay,
Is based on what he was just saying. It's
that
not
is
the same
correct,
situation.
because that's right, because you have a public water supply system and you don't have your own well. That's correct.
That's okay. I'm just bringing the point up so that we can be talking apples to apples here, Wes.
He can't run because he's not rural.
That's right.
So, but what Mr. Ellis was just saying is that the district will be drawn around me. So you need to redraw the district then.
I think without question, a better way to have accomplished that would have been to draw single member districts in such a way that you got the balance that you're looking for. It's very unique that you have, again, every voter can vote for 4 different directors, but there is a limitation on who can run for that seat. That's very unique.
It sounds like it's illegal.
It's a big butt.
Yeah.
Big butt.
Well, it's been upheld so far. You can always challenge it in court, guys.
Benefits.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further
Be
discussion
working
on the
very well
matter?
either.
Is there any district where one interest group outweighs the other one?
That's amongst the board. Is there any more discussion amongst the board? Okay.
I'd like to
Because
say
it's been that way for
I'm
2 years,
sorry.
that
Please
means
have a
it's
seat.
right.
I'd like to say something before you close because it's a fact that's been left out.
Okay,
The
fine.
at-large positions are Fort Clark, Mudd, the city, and the county. Everybody votes for those. There is not a single one of us that live in precinct 1, 2, 3, or 4 that we can't run for those precincts. We can only run for something that everybody in the county votes for, and that's something you've forgotten to discuss. So you run for Fort Clark Mudd Large, everybody votes who gets in there. You run. And I don't know why somebody's so fearful. We all care about the spring. It's about the spring and our water. My point is, everybody can vote for those 3 positions that you say that we get to run for, but we don't really get to run for something that just represents our interests.
Let me add to that, Wes, while I add it, because I do have a comment. Something that we all
Audience,
need
please
to
keep it
realize
down.
too. Something
Please
we all
keep it
need to
down.
realize is, my position is Fort Clark Mudd at large. Wes, your position is county at large. Matt, your city at large. City at large, county at large, Fort Clark Mudd at large. We all represent all the people of this county, not just the Fort and Mudd for me. I don't just represent the Fort and Mudd. You, Wes, represent everybody in this county. Matt, you represent everybody in this county, and I represent everybody in this county. So keep that in mind.
Yeah. I was representing everybody in the county whenever I did the ad hoc committee as well. Okay, if there's no further discussion, I'm going to call the vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. 4 in favor, 2 opposed, 1 abstention.
How do we take that to court? Lawyer?
Well, right now, you have to wait until next month when he presents us with a resolution in opposition, and then we're going to vote that up or down.
That may be better than just our county once this gets out.
You know, I'm getting ready.
Yeah, you betcha.
You weren't.
I told you I wasn't. Dave. Sure, you don't lie.
Okay.
I told you that.
All right, gentlemen, let's move on. Item number 9, Drought Mitigation Committee
That's
report.
debatable. You
All right,
read
gentlemen,
that.
save it for after the meeting.
You say so.
It's debatable, right, Dave?
Hey, guys, save it for
We're
after the
having a
meeting.
little discussion.
I know, but save it for after the meeting. Drought Mitigation Committee report. All right, the Drought Mitigation Committee met. We had some discussion. We talked about pursuing a voluntary drought plan and some other things, and we want to put together some subcommittees. So, which leads us into agenda item number 10, which is travel expenses for the Drought Mitigation Committee.
Okay, hold on. We haven't done anything on 9, have you?
I just gave you 9 and led you right into 10 with it, Director Menley.
Okay, well, the Drought Mitigation Committee. Okay. Do you know what that word means?
Director, do you have a point?
Yes, sir, I sure do.
Well, please make it.
Well, the point is that means suppose something happened. It's already happened. We've been in a number 5 drought until this flood. It's already happening. It's not supposed that it could happen. It's going on. It has been going on for 5 years. And y'all neglect it. Y'all just dropped the drought plan to go to that mitigation to where you think it's going to just impose that something's going to happen. It's already been happening. You just didn't want the drought plan yourself, so you dropped it.
No, Director, I didn't want to see a committee that was being used for campaign purposes. And that's why I put an end to it. Now, do you have something
Is
to
that an
add to drought
accusation, Lance,
mitigation?
or what? Is that something you're going to substantiate? That's a ridiculous accusation.
Really?
I'm not going to stand for that.
Maybe you should go watch the video. You're not going to stand for it, are you?
Let's
Are you?
watch the videos
We'll
all day.
see what you
Wes.
stand for, buddy.
You got it.
Now, discussion, possible action, travel expenses for drought mitigation committee members. What we would like to do is set up some subcommittees and have people go out and look at some of these things like conjunctive use, aquifer storage and retrieval, rainfall enhancement. A lot of members of the public have expressed an interest in this. If they want to step up to the plate, they need to come down to the district office and tell us that they want to participate, and we'll put them in a subcommittee so they can go out, find out some of these things, and come back and report it to the committee. So I would like to have some travel expenses for these folks. They shouldn't be out of pocket for going and doing this.
Is there a subcommittee for curtailment?
All things will be considered, including curtailment.
So who's on the drought mitigation committee?
Myself,
Members.
Director Schott, and Director Blount.
So this
You were here,
discussion
they volunteered.
This discussion possible action is for travel expenses for you and Director Schott and Director Blank.
No, they're for the committee. The committee
The
will
committee
assign.
is, who'd you just tell me the committee was, Wes?
Director, don't interrupt me. Don't ever do it again.
I might.
We can go there real quick. Anytime you're ready.
What are you talking? I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I didn't think you did. Sit there and shut up. Travel expenses for the drought committee members, that's so we can send out these subcommittees and they don't have to pay for their travel and their food when they go someplace like Kerrville. That's what this is about. It's just setting aside $2,500 or $3,000 so these folks can go out and study this stuff, come back and report it to us. That's what it's about.
The item says.
Any discussion?
Are you going to get people to, or you just want to pass this deal now and get the people later?
Well, we need to get the funds dedicated to do it. the people will be assigned by the committee in a meeting.
I got a question
go
for
do it.
Greg.
We'll have to vote on it.
Greg, I got a question for you, if I might. Wes? Is there any issues with volunteers being paid? Does that not make them consultants?
They're not being paid.
Well, I don't know what you call it.
There's a difference between a per diem and or reimbursement of expenses and fees of office. Okay? You all, as directors, receive fees of office. You get a certain amount of money for the day of doing the job of being a director. Although I'm not sure you all.
No.
Yeah, we don't.
Most directors take that money across the state. That's not the same thing as reimbursement for expenses. So I guess the question is it appropriate for the district to reimburse the expenses for somebody who's doing work for the district in terms of volunteering to go spend their time and effort to go research what's going on in these other districts? I think that would be considered a legitimate expense as long as it is a direct reimbursement supported by the same type of receipts and the same type of verified statement submitted by whoever it is that's wanting to be reimbursed.
And who decides who to reimburse these people? The whole board or just the general manager?
I can't remember what your bylaws currently say about how board members are reimbursed, but I imagine it'd be the same process.
Gotta have a receipt.
And verified statement. I mean, you gotta swear to these expenses are legit.
That you did it. You had a question, Ms. Schott?
Clarify, who the committee is again.
The committee is
Pick them.
the director. The committee is Director Schott, Director Bland, and myself. I asked for volunteers. They volunteered. I'm asking for volunteers on the subcommittees.
Can you change that statement on number 10? Travel expenses for drought mitigation subcommittee members.
We can certainly make it.
I think that's the holdup here. Is everybody's mad that you're going to get money?
Oh,
it's not you. It's not us.
I'm not planning on doing any of the traveling, but yeah, that's fine. Let's modify the motion.
Volunteers from the community.
Let's modify the motion
subcommittee
to make it subcommittee. All right, I would move to modify my motion to make it drought mitigation subcommittees.
Absolutely.
I second that.
Well, and the amount?
We're just changing the.
No, I need.
We're changing it as it stated. Drought mitigation committee members are going to be reimbursed. That's not.
Yeah.
I think that was a typo. It's subcommittee members that we're asking to be subcommittee from the general public to be subcommittee members. General public doing this should not incur costs doing that work. That's what we're asking for them to be reimbursed.
Are we establishing an amount?
Well, I think we should. I think we just set an amount, whether it's $2,500 or $3,000. I don't think they're going to spend that much. But the bottom line is we need to set an amount so it doesn't go over that without coming back to the board anyway. So I would set an amount on it. I don't care if it's $2,000, $2,500, $3,000. Just set any amount on it.
There needs to be some.
It can't go over that.
Subcommittee with prior acknowledgement that they're going to go do this. We will cover the cost of this.
Yeah.
No, don't just bring me receipts saying you did something.
No.
It's prior acknowledgement of what they're doing on the subcommittee with receipts, prior authorization.
We're going to have to appoint him by action before they can go do it
This
anyway.
needs to be set up now so that there's not anything.
Oh, absolutely.
In the future.
No.
Let's get it correct now so we're not arguing over this later. It's a very simple thing.
I concur.
Just to say what it is.
I concur. That's fine. So the motion is for travel expenses for drought mitigation subcommittees.
I think that was the original thought. It wasn't put down correctly.
But that's the way we're going to make the motion.
Yeah.
And then we're going to put a maximum in there or a limit.
I would certainly entertain any maximum that, I think we need to limit it for sure.
3,000.
I think that's fine. Any comments on that?
I don't think we should use taxpayer dollars to do this. Volunteers are volunteers. That's what the beauty of volunteers are. Volunteers don't need gas money.
Okay. You got a comment?
You're asking me what my opinion is?
I'm asking if you have a comment, Director, before I
I've
call a
been
vote.
shoveling horse manure for 60 years. I think you've shoveled more in the past 2 years, and I have my whole life.
Very well. That's your comment.
That's what I think.
Anyone else have any comments? All those in favor, raise your right hand.
Mr. President, I'm sorry. For the purpose of the minutes, I want to make sure we have a full motion here.
Yes.
I think what I heard the motion was, is to provide up to $3,000 reimbursement for members of the subcommittee.
Correct.
Okay? That's all one motion?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna write it out. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Abstaining? Very well. This agenda item number 11, discussion, possible action, financial statements for June 2024.
This is the one with the tricky, yeah, how you word it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. This is the ones that we file for audit.
Well,
You don't accept them. Yeah.
Gotta read this off or not?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So let's read this statement off. Arboretum taxes receivable, $10,457.15. Expenses payable, $1,600.13 and 86 cents. Net, $8,843.29. Accounts receivable, $29,566.34. General fund, $115,918.44. Money market, $163,816.26. Paper cash is $162.48. Fixed pool, 5,800. CD number one. No, text pool is $857,839.45. The first CD is $137,308.19, and the second CD is $274,362.51.
I'll entertain a motion to file for audit.
So moved.
Second. Motion's been made and seconded to file our investment report for audit. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. Agenda item number 13, invoices received and invoices paid.
That's just a review item.
I believe it is, isn't it? Yep. No, that's discussion possible action, isn't it?
No, 12 is review.
Yeah, we missed the
No.
investment report.
This is the one that we filed. This is the one. Yeah. We didn't need a motion on the other one. This is the one that we need to file for audit. We're early, but we got it this time anyway. Any questions on item number 13? I'll entertain a motion to file that for audit.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion?
No.
All those in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign.
Yeah, I'm in favor of it, I guess. That's
7-0.
just a quick comment. It seems to me like I saw these two Loftus scholarship accounts at the last meeting. So I'm just seeing that, obviously those are the scholarships, but was that same expense on last month's or?
Don't know.
I don't have last month's notes with me, but it just,
what
like,
date?
so
What date are you looking at?
So I'm looking at item number 13.
Yeah.
The date was 6/5/26,
Okay.
43, 48, 49.
43, 48, and 49. Ah,
Yes,
gotcha.
sir.
Gotcha. Okay.
I thought those were on last month's and
They were.
I don't know.
Check on, say.
Okay, it's working out.
But is it $1,000
It's
scholarship or
$1,000,
2,000?
but it's still on the same day, 6/5.
It's the same day, right?
It's not 7.
So it's just on both.
It's on both. Everything from number 1 down to the 19th is the same.
Okay, then some were added at the
probably
bottom.
the date.
Okay, that's fine. I was just like,
No, that's a fair question.
okay.
43.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, we got duplicate dates.
If
Yeah.
we file it twice, it's whatever.
No.
I just,
No, it's the same check. It's just listed twice.
yeah. That worked. Thank you.
Okay. We're now going to recess to go into executive session on Authority of Government Code, Chapter 551, Texas Open Meetings Act, Personnel Matters, 551.047, litigation, and personnel matters. So, will all please exit the building. It is 8:30 and we're back in regular session. We did not take any action in executive session. Agenda item number 14, discussion possible action matters deliberated during executive session. I think we've already decided how we're going to handle that one. In the next item, so we're going to go to 15, director's request for items for next or future agenda items. And I am going to move for discussion, possible action, job description for assistant general manager and general manager.
So move. You want to take that in a motion?
I made it a motion. There's a second.
Second.
Any discussion? Motion's been made and seconded for a future agenda item to include discussion, possible action, job description, general manager and assistant general manager for the Kinney County Groundwater Conservation District. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Let the record reflect that Director Lewis had to leave to go to work. Any other agenda items?
You know, one thing, Wes, I read on Facebook, I think, that we got a grant. Is that true? Like, anybody aware of that?
Yeah, we talked about that at the last meeting, I do believe. $170,000.
I don't remember talking about it, but
Yep. That was
we very
Texas
well
Water.
could have.
Yes, I'll be glad to tell you about that right now.
So I don't know if we want to talk about it next meeting or just quick, hey, we got it and we're going to do whatever.
We can put an agenda. We don't have anything discussion or, I mean, there's no action to take, so to speak. But I mean, if you want to talk about it, we stick it on the
Yeah,
agenda.
well, yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
And then we can just, yeah.
Yeah. So
Can we just know what the grant's for?
yeah, we've talked about this over and over again. This is to
I just missed
this
it.
is to study the spring basin. It's a $170,000 grant we received from the Texas Water Development Board, and we're lining this out. This is to study the spring basin and how the water flows around it and how everything affects the stream gauge, whether it's runoff, whether it's coming out of the city or whether it's coming out of the pool. And it's just to study that area down in there. And part of that is some of these, what we had talked about with some of the instrumentation that we've already got, the new transducers that have the specific resistivity. They've got several other different points that the old ones don't get. And I think there were 10 of those involved in that $170,000 grant as well. I would have to get that information from Vince.
Yeah, so Vince would be maybe, I think Vince is coming next month.
Yes, he will be here.
So
Yes.
if we could put him on the agenda and he could talk about that grant.
Okay, so you're making a motion that we have on the future agenda item, the Texas Water Development Board grant, and I will second that.
So moved.
Anyone, any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. Anything else?
Mr. President, if I could comment real quickly, we're starting the legislative discussion a little early here because of the draft bills we put around.
Yes,
I
sir.
think it'd be a good idea to have standing agenda item to get a report on legislative matters and litigation matters around the state. I can provide you an update every meeting on whatever's going on. We have a couple of committee hearings coming up, once in Weslaco with the House Natural Resources Committee.
Give me wording. We'll have it on there every month.
I'll email it to you. But
Okay.
basically it's update from general counsel on
Legislative. Yeah, legislative update, basically.
and litigation update.
Yeah,
Yeah.
legislative
And,
and litigation update.
you can put it at the beginning, put it at the end, and wherever you want to put it. House Natural Resources is meeting in Weslaco. They're going to be talking about overall water planning and alternative water strategies. And then the Senate committee is going to be meeting in Austin, and they're going to be talking about water intensive industrial developments, which is another way of saying data centers. So both of those are invited testimony. In the House, you can provide written testimony up on whatever the topic is, up to the point that the hearing ends. Once the hearing ends, then that stops. But you can use their web link to send in written testimony as well. I can't be at either of those two meetings. They're not talking about groundwater issues specifically, but there's a whole lot of concern about data centers, so I want to make sure the public and you all are aware that this is.
If you will give us a heads up on how much time you need for this item, we will determine whether we put you at the beginning or the end.
Okay.
Because I got a feeling these are going to be some long agenda items.
It could be. Yeah.
This will, based on last session, was awfully busy.
The pre-session, most of my other clients, I've been work meetings. It takes me about 5 to 15 minutes, depending on what else happened. During session, they can take a while.
It gets busy.
And during session, there'll be, especially March, April, and May. I may not be able to be here. I may have to be in Austin.
So we understood that when we moved it.
Okay.
Anything else, gentlemen? Not, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to adjourn. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries.
What time is it?
It is 8:37.